We are live now. We are live now.
Hello and a very warm good evening to everyone who has joined us at the Career Hour. This is one platform where we connect with all you wonderful people, students, parents, teachers maybe, right from the comfort of our homes, when we probably have finished the day's chores, right? This Career Hour is sponsored by EduGuy Career Predictive Test, ECPT. Now, ECPT has been the biggest buzz ever since it has been launched in the month of September. What is ECPT? How is it helping the students decide on their suitable careers? Who is ECPT for? How long is the test for? How can one take this test, etc., etc.? There's a lot of questions around it. I will be telling you a lot more about this brilliant test that has been powered by IBM and driven by artificial intelligence in a short while. However, you have to promise me to stick on till the end of this event to know more about this and a lot of other interesting events that I'm going to talk about. ECPT Career Hour happens every day from Monday to Saturday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. However, today we are doing a special hour from 7 to 8:30 p.m. considering we have Diwali next week, where we will be talking about careers in event management today, careers in Bollywood, and careers in travel and tourism. Every day we bring eminent speakers to speak about a career that is chosen by the students on demand. We bring the speakers right here, live on our platform, where students can even ask any questions in the chat box, and we almost try to answer them. And the students ask questions, and whatever doubts that they have regarding that particular career, it is answered on this platform. Such a platform is indeed a great help for all of you, especially during this pandemic, isn't it? The pandemic is here to stay for some time, and we are not sure for how long. This pandemic has certainly established a new normal for the higher education sector and will further revolutionize the online education landscape. It has definitely impacted students' career choices, the challenges that are faced by the students, and also the viability of them studying abroad. Students are very much anxious and stressed and have been forced to probably reconsider their preferred career choices and are thinking of having a backup plan now. Well, it is always good to have a backup plan. Students are more concerned about how to pick a safe and promising career choice. How wonderful it will be to have all this answered under one roof. What if we had a career guidance tool, a career guidance genie, if I may call, which is not human biased and gives you the top 3 career options that you are most suitable for and you will be most successful at. This is why we have ECPT, EduGuy Career Predictive Test. It's a 120 minutes test that helps the students in giving the most scientific and accurate results on the input they provide. The career options that ECPT brings on this table is enormous. Not everyone should be a doctor or an engineer or a chartered accountant maybe. There are so many careers that are available and every one of us are suitable for that particular career. Anyways, we will tell you a lot more about how you can use ECPT to help you decide your suitable career. But for now, let's move on to our first topic of the day, event management. Well, it is a hot career option owing to the increasing trend in retail and marketing sector. Now, what does event management includes? It includes a lot of things. Let's say it includes organizing an event with a focused goal for a target audience. Budgeting, it involves executing the events. Now, events could be anything, right? It could be working on fashion shows, working on concerts, seminars, exhibitions, weddings, themed parties, product launches, and so many options that we have under event management. They say that the sky is the limit for event management. However, to talk more about this, let's hear from Mr. Vishal Kumar, who is a former operations manager in Murrayfield Stadium, Edinburgh, Scotland. May I request my ID team to get him on the screen, please?
Hello everyone, my name is Vishal Kumar and I would like to start this session by thanking EduGuy for creating this wonderful platform which is EduFair 3.0 for all you youngsters from different parts of the world who have joined in today. I think it is an amazing platform in this tough situation, in this pandemic where people are staying at home doing nothing or thinking about containing themselves away from the entire world. This is a perfect example of coming and thinking out of the box and creating a tool, creating a platform where everyone can get benefited. I'm here to speak more about event management. Event management is a most important and most demanding stream of hospitality management. Event management is all about creating events, be it personal, be it social, be it corporate, from a small scale to a larger scale. But that's what event management is all about. And it is today spread across the globe, it is that popular. The event industry now includes from a small size event to the world's biggest event. For example, Olympics. If I give you an example of small size, could be a birthday party. So this is the range I'm talking about. And believe me, probably every day, we come across some event or the other, because today that's what is the need of the hour is. This is what people, organization, companies are using this as their biggest marketing pool. This is one platform through which you can attract your target audience. This is one platform through which you can spread your product to the entire world. So this is how important event management is. Talking about event manager is the person who plans to execute the event, take responsibilities, be it technical side, be it creative side, be it logistic elements. So he is the person who will be taking care of this entire workflow. He will be the person who will be taking care of this entire execution, and from the brand building to marketing to communication to strategies. So these all key responsibilities comes under event manager. We will discuss now a little more in detail about the qualities. What qualities one should have to be a good event manager, or rather to go into this stream. Hospitality management or event management today is no more a second choice for any student. If I talk about career, once upon a time people used to only talk about medical or engineering, but today, looking at the diversity, looking at the demand of the market, this has become a first choice profession for many youngsters. Event management is one profession which is not a mark sheet oriented profession. Event management is one profession which you don't need to be very knowledgeable. Everyone is not, they're not blessed with the same technical mind. But it does not mean that stops them from becoming successful today. If I talk about the most important quality one should have, if they really want to be in event management, is something called people skill. You need to know, you need to have the skill where you can interact, where you can negotiate, whether you can communicate from any kind of person, be it a senior government official to a small vendor who is supplying you the tool. You need to have that art in you of handling different range of people. I have worked in an event management company for almost more than 4 years. I used to be a part of Scottish Rugby Union, in Murrayfield for 4 years, and I have seen a lot of big events. Be it a concert for people like Bryan Adams, be it a football match for a team like Barcelona, be it a cricket match for Ashes, be it a Wimbledon. So all these events, they have their own requirement. But what remains the same, what remains the basic, is your own quality. So talking on the basis of my experience about event management, I will rate the first quality one should have is people skill. Moving on to the second quality of an event manager or an event professional. Event professional should be very flexible. If you really want to sit in an AC room, if you really want to have a 9 to 6 job, I don't think event management is for you. You need to be flexible. On one side, you are suited, booted, you are talking to your client, you are sitting in the AC 5-star hotel room where you're discussing about your business. Probably on the day of your event, if needed, you will be the first one to roll down your sleeves and get into action. So we need to be very flexible. If I move on forward, the third is, and the important thing, this is again for every individual, rather not only for event management, but I believe for any profession, especially when it comes to service sector, you should be a good listener. That's where you get to listen to the need of your client. That's where you need to know what are the things your client expects from you. So your expectation, your listening skills are very, very, very important when it comes to event management. An event manager should be very organized. Event management has so much of diversity. It has got so much of complex element into the entire affair that you need to be very organized. So organizational skill or self-organization is very important when it comes to event management if you want to be successful in this industry. I think the key skill which we talk about, and to this is again in regards to any profession, but especially for event management, if you want to be successful, you need to be very passionate about it. You need to love your job, because in event management you have got a lot of stress. And if you don't love your job, if you don't have that passion for your job, I think this could be a hurdle for you if I'm talking about a long-term success. Moving on to the next point about event manager is you need to be a good communicator. Again, when I'm talking about communication here, I'm not talking about any specific language, be it English, Hindi, or any other language. Good communication means that you need to know the art of putting your ideas across clearly. In event management, there will be a lot of last-minute requests. There will be a lot of last-minute technical failure. There could be various kind of problems which will come in your way. I think you need to have that art of handling that pressure. You need to have that art of managing things. So it is very important that you remain calm and you handle pressure well, because nobody likes to work under a boss who takes a lot of stress, who's very aggressive. So pressure handling is key in event management, indeed. A lot of students have asked me about career in event management after this pandemic, after post-COVID. What will happen to this industry? My dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you this with a lot of confidence that I believe, despite of the dark side of this pandemic, despite of the destructions or the losses which we have encountered because of this pandemic, I think event management or hospitality management is entering into a new era altogether. And what we are going to witness 1 year down the line is something this industry has never seen, especially for the event management. I think we are about to enter one of the most brightest time of this particular stream. Today, if I'll talk about it, the world is standstill. Nothing is happening across the globe. But do you think it will remain like that? No, it will not. Once we are over, once we cross this pandemic, the entire world, be it any profession, be it production, technicals, any profession I talk about, they all will bounce back. They will all try to bounce back into the market to overcome the losses, to overcome the restrictions which they have faced because of this pandemic. And if they will put their best foot forward, I think the first and foremost thing which will happen, it will create more and more and more events, because that's how they will promote their brand. That's how they will make it popular. All these sporting events are on standstill. Do you think it will remain like that? It will not. Things will come in a more organized way. Things will come with a newer version. And I believe the current students are the one who will be mostly equipped, who will be mostly prepared for this change, and they will be the one who will get the maximum benefit out of it. So thank you so much. Once again, I would like to thank Team EduGuy for organizing this EduFair 3.0. And thank you so much for inviting me. It was indeed a pleasure talking to all of you. Wish you all the very best. Stay safe and take care.
Well, you don't get to go that easily, Mr. Vishal Kumar. So can we have you on the screen right now? Because, we have a lot of questions pouring in our mailbox from the students who would like to ask more about event management. So I welcome Mr. Vishal on the screen. Can we have him on the spotlight, please?
Thank you so much, Anuradha, for inviting me. And trust me, it's indeed a pleasure to be here. And I'll try my level best to answer all your questions. Trust me, even I'm equally nervous, but I'm sure this session will help plenty youngsters around the globe who will be listening to your session. So thank you so much once again for inviting me.
Right, and thank you so much for coming in once again on our platform, ECPT Career Hour. So let's start with the most favorite question of the students these days. Of course, the pandemic is going on. So event management now, all we know is all about physical event management. During this time, has it created any opportunities for the virtual event management? Because this is where the world is heading, actually.
Absolutely. And let me tell you this, first of all, I'll relate this to a holistic learning. This question is very realistic for all the youngsters. And as I said in my session just now, that hospitality education is totally different. And it is one education where you don't need to be a scholar in terms of your academic performance. But now, as you asked about the virtual event management, I believe it's a new normal, to be honest with you. And today, despite of the dark side of pandemic, with all this things which has happened, which is usually it's not a good thing, but at the same time, I strongly believe that we as a hospitality professionals, we have learned and we have experimented and we have done so many new things which we could not have done if it had been a normal, time of our life. The best example, if I'll talk about event management today, is me or you, or there are so many other youngsters, or probably even the people who are already into the industry for last 20-25 years. They were not that technical, friendly people, to be honest with you. Although Facebook, Twitter, Insta is in today's world is the basic social media platform. But because of this pandemic, we have learned so many things. And I'm sure you will agree with me, be it your Facebook page or my Facebook page. Every 1 hour, if you log back to your Facebook page, you will find a new webinar happening somewhere around the world. And be it for any platform. I'll give you a real basic example of how you can implement event management into your marketing skills. Is the best thing what is happening just now is the IPL. Now they have, initially they used to have a sponsored box, but today I believe the sponsors are more happy to get flashed on the screen after every 2 minutes or in between every interval of a over, where the brand gets flashed on the screen along with the face, and that too of so many different faces. What is this all about? It's all about thinking. It's all about thinking out of the box, and it's all about capitalizing this crisis into an opportunity. So I think, be it COVID or post-COVID, I think today or tomorrow, this digital platform will work parallelly with event management. And event management is yet to see a new dynamic era with bundle of opportunities for all those people who were not only into hospitality, but even now into the digital hospitality.
Wow. Yes, absolutely. You're right. So this is definitely going to open Pandora's box, which is the more career options for students. It's a new norm. That is where we are heading. So of course, this is what I wanted to ask you, and this the basic question, which is, what are the qualifications that are required to get into event management? Is a formal education required, like any professional course that you can do? And what is the basic qualification that is required?
See, to be honest with you, event management is not one stream which has only and only a direct connection with
Right.
hospitality education.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Even a simple graduate can end up into a into a event management if they have certain skills in them. But if you will ask me as a career, what would I recommend to all the youngsters who wants to pursue their future or who wants to make their name in the field of event management? I would definitely suggest them to complete their graduation in hospitality management. And why I'm saying this again is the simple reason is hospitality management is one education where you learn almost everything which has a direct impact on your personality, be it communication skills, be it your leadership, be it your marketing, be it say budgeting, a finance side which is equally important, uh, be it teamwork, be it your interpersonal skills. So all these points are very important. So what I would suggest that any students who wants to pursue uh, and to pursue their career in the field of event management, they should complete, first of all, they should complete their graduation in hospitality management program in a 3 years degree in hospitality management. It's always good that if you have a degree which is from international universities, because again, event management is something which is happening around the world, and you never know, you might end up working somewhere in London or Australia or France or United States. And if then in
Yes.
that case, if you have that international degree with you, it will help you. And that prepares you, to be honest with you, that prepares you for the long-term career in the field of event management. And it gives you a detailed growth, detailed knowledge about implementing your knowledge into a better career.
Absolutely. So you heard students, what we are recommending, or rather what Vishal is recommending, is a graduation in hospitality management to start with, and definitely you can do some specialized courses. And moving on to our next question, how much experience is enough before one can start his own event management company? Because of course you can work in a corporate, but how what kind of experience you need to gather, or how many years you need to work with a corporate or somebody else in order to be an entrepreneur?
It's a very valid question, but again, this is something which, in my personal opinion, it varies from people to person to
Right.
person. But I always suggest this to a lot of my students. See, working for a multinational or working for a corporate company, what I personally, and this is again my personal opinion, uh,
Uh-huh.
working for somebody brings more discipline in. This is my first thing. And especially for a
Yes, yes.
fresher, especially for a
Hmm.
fresher, even if it's your own business, what do you learn when you work for others? Let me put it in a simple way, especially for a fresher. I believe what you learn is how to, you know, deal with people. As I said, your
Right.
interpersonal skills. And this is something which is the
Yes.
key quality for an event management person. Second thing, you learn how to respect the hierarchy, which is very important. You know, that's how you channelize your communication. So I believe it's always good for a student who have that knowledge, who are from that field, is to work for
Mhm.
somebody else, a big MNC, a popular event management company, for at least a couple of years, learn the basics, because that's how you will learn how to. Because in event management, what happens, Anu, to be honest with you, you deal with a different kind of people. You deal with the CEO
Right.
of a company. At the same time, you deal with somebody who is your vendor, who will provide you the chicken for next 1 year. And it's a fact. It's a fact.
Yes,
And
yes, yes.
success should always come step by step. Success is not something which comes overnight. So all these things are important. A couple of years of experience under a good belt, under a good brand, helps you to learn a lot of things, which probably a fresher, I won't say they won't be able to learn, but I believe it might be a little difficult for them to learn if they start their career just after this. So a couple of years is my recommendation.
Right. And with a vast experience like yours, I'm sure these tips are very, very handy for the students. And it's not only event management. Before becoming an entrepreneur, definitely it is required that you work with a corporate to, of course, get into systems, get into processes, define processes,
Logistics,
and
yeah.
discipline. It's the most important thing. And a little bit of experience always helps
Helps.
down the line when you are an entrepreneur, right? So thanks a lot for that. And I can see some questions coming on my WhatsApp as well from the students. What kind of challenges can one expect in this field? Like, challenges are there everywhere, but with event management, of course, you may have to deal with an irate customer right then and there. Or what are the other, difficulties or challenges that you may face?
Absolutely. To be honest with you, I started my career. I worked for an event management company for almost 4.5 years. And I was lucky
Okay.
to work with various brands and various different kind of events. As you heard in my just this video which you just played, it's about from a concert to a cricket World Cup match to a rugby match to a event management, say for any promotional activity and stuff. So, what is the key challenge which I came across in my career, to be honest with you? That unfortunately, apart from the basic, I'm not, differing from my key statement here. Apart from the basic SOPs in event management, there is not one principle which you will follow in every game. So you will have to be very flexible. Number one, you will have to be very flexible because your handling skills, as I said, interpersonal skills needs to be completely different. Number two, in this competitive world where event management, as you have seen and as I'm certifying it also, is drastically becoming popular year after year. Probably 5 years from now, event management was not that popular. But today, it is very popular, very, very popular. So, in event management, one challenge, or rather, I should say, one quality which is mandatory is that you need to be very innovative. You and me, we always demand for something new, something fresh.
Correct.
We don't want to repeat things. That what happened in my friend's son's birthday party, I don't want to do the same in my son's birthday party.
Correct.
Probably I want to do something new. So, what options do you have?
Absolutely.
So, the challenge is you need to be innovative, you need to be very flexible, and you need to be very hands on. And one biggest challenge in event management, which I personally feel is unfortunately, there is no margin for error. Because either most of the time, either you are live on TV or on the big platform, and secondly is probably you are dealing with so many high profile people where you can't afford to make mistakes. So you need to do your homework very properly. The logistics should be absolutely crystal clear.
Yes, bang on, Mr. Vishal, because there is no error, there's no margin for error in this field, because once you go wrong, probably you lose the client forever. And it's an industry where word of mouth does work a lot, right? More than, building relationships, rapport building relationships. Of course, word of mouth is the most important thing in this event industry. So with this, I think we're running short of time. I wish I could ask you more, because there are them. Thank you once again for coming on our platform ECPT Career Hour. It was certainly a pleasure having you with us once again. I thank you, the team of EduGuy, and we will see you soon again, maybe on another Career Hour.
Indeed, a pleasure. Thank you so much, Anuradha, and thank you, a big thank you to all the team members of ECPT. And let me congratulate you for creating a wonderful tool, which is going to transform and which is going to help many youngsters in future to choose a right career. So I think it's a miracle, and I'm sure this will have a great impact on generation next in choosing and in helping them with their professional life. Once again, thank you so much for inviting me. It was indeed a pleasure to be here and speak to you.
Thank you, and you have a great weekend there, Mr. Vishal, and Mr. Vishal from event management, who was talking about what are the qualifications required on event management and how one grow in event management, and there is no margin for in this industry, and so on and so forth. Before we move on to the next topic stay tuned.
Are you stressed out, indecisive, and confused about your career? ECPT A1 20 Minutes, world's most technologically advanced career predictive test. IBM's AI and deep learning technology will match your skills and aptitude to over 1,400 careers. Get your career tested at ecptonline.com.
All right, we are back at the Career Hour that happens every day from Monday to Saturday, 8 to 9 p.m. We talk about one career and anything related to that career to help our students, and this happens right here at our platform. Our proud sponsors are ECPT, EduGuy Career Predictive Test for the event, ECPT that is helping to shape thousands and thousands of students' careers across schools in India. ECPT is the perfect friend, philosopher, and mentor to guide students on their top 3 career options that they are most suitable for. We are going to give out more and more information on this. However, let's quickly move on to the most awaited career topic for this evening, careers in Bollywood. I have been waiting for this actually. Let's hear what Mr. Jaideep Singh, who is an actor from, with Balaji Telefilms, has to say about careers in Bollywood.
So, the first thing would be you have to be very, very, very strong. Creative, definitely you have to be. You have to be. The first thing is you have to be very strong because it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of dedication. It takes, at times, it takes ages to reach, where you want to begin from. And I started when I was 21, and I got trained under Mr. Dinesh Gupta. He was my first guru, and I got trained in Calcutta. And I kept working there. I then after that I got trained under Mr. Anupam Kher in Bombay, and I was working in Calcutta. I was working in Bombay. I was traveling between both the cities. I was also doing theater. In between, I also started my academy, and so everything was happening together, and the experience together uh, got me here today.
All right. So, how were the things like, when you basically thought that you want to become an actor, Mrs. Singh, what are the things that you basically persuaded in terms of your education and, of course, your own skill set? How did you go about with it?
See, I will start with my family. My mother has been teaching since 51 years now, right? And she has been into cultural activities and everything else, right? So I think before I was born, I had this in me. And I remember I was in lower nursery when I became Krishna for the first time, and I somehow liked it. I've grown up seeing Mama, working for the students and creating and conceiving and conceptualizing ideas for her school, for other schools. So I think it started long back. And then I think while I was growing up, the kind of atmosphere I got in my school or where I grew up in Calcutta, I think that made me inclined towards not just acting. I would say it was stage initially. I used to love dancing, I used to love singing, I used to love acting, I used to love writing. So now, if you ask me, I've grown up doing all that, and if I talk about my shows, where my shows of my academy, the annual concerts, which I used to conceive and conceptualize, I used to choreograph, I used to do the costumes, I used to work for the sponsorships, I used to do everything, and I think it is very important for an actor to not only just know acting but also to know how other things work out, right? How technicians work, because you have to be technically very strong when you want to get into acting. You can't eat your co-actors light, and there are so many other things which you have to take care of. So I would say acting is not that easy, and you have to give yourself to acting. You can't just one fine day think that, oh, I want to become an actor, I should go and become an actor. That doesn't happen. The chance happens suddenly, but you grow gradually. Slowly you grow.
Right. As an individual, Mr. Singh, what are the prerequisites that somebody needs to have? Like, for instance, you had a calling that, you want to be an actor. A lot of kids do have that, but then they do not really know how to identify that. So what would you say would be, the required prerequisites for an individual?
The first thing would be, you know, they should they should be ready to face challenges. And when I say challenges, it is not about getting a character or getting a role or not getting a role or getting work or not getting a work. It's about uh, to be ready to understand different characters every day, to get onto the shoes of a person you have never known, because acting is playing different characters every day. You can't be Jaideep Singh and be doing different characters. You have to be Jaideep Singh has to be a different character. Like right now, the character I am playing for this show I'm doing is called Sangram Khurana, who is a very cunning guy, which I am not. So initially, it took me a couple of days when we started shooting after the lockdown. It took me a couple of days to actually understand what our creative team was wanting out of us. On the contrary, when I was playing a brigadier for Satyamev Jayate for Z5, which was directed by Arindam Seal, I was pretty sure about what I wanted to do and what the character was, because I was playing a brigadier, and I met a couple of people who were working, for the web series, and we sat and we discussed, and we met, one of the brigadiers from Calcutta, and he was retired, so he gave me a brief. So what I'm trying to say is, you have to get really deep into it. You have to really understand that each day will be a new day. Each day, the character will have a different layer, right?
Absolutely. Mr. Singh, you have been there with acting for so many years now, and you also have an academy of your own. What were your best moments, of being an actor? And of course, what has been your challenges? Any such moments if you want to share with all students here today and all of us?
Right. I would definitely share it. So it was 2 years back when Mrs. Sharla Tagore was there for my academy's annual concert, and she was I was happy that she was impressed and she was happy being there. So once we requested her to come over the stage, and we wanted to felicitate her. All of a sudden, she knew that this is my academy. I am the director. I do everything, but she did not know about me doing everything. Right. So she asked me. She said, "Who is the choreographer?" I said, "I." She said, "Who did the costumes?" And it was like I. And then slowly I told her, and the appreciation she gave, it was so pure and it was so positive, and it was such a big push to me, because however strong you are, however experienced you are, coming from a person like Sharmila Tagore, right, it adds on a different feeling to your hard work you have put into. uh, the the most uh, the most difficult uh, the most difficult moment was when I was very happy, because I was 21. I was doing my first telefilm. It was supposed to come on ETV Bangla, and they were like 40, 45 Bengali guys, and I was the only Sardar guy auditioning for that lead's character. And after I got finalized, there were a lot of guys who were upset, and they were talking outside the studio in Bengali that why a Sardar guy has been finalized as the lead guy, you know. And I as a 21 year old got very hurt. I went to the director and I said that sir, people are saying this, and he said, who are people to decide, Jedi? Why are you so heartbroken? And if at the age of 2021, you are taking them so seriously, how do you think you're going to go ahead in this field? Because you guys have to have a thick skin if you want to be an actor, and if you want to continue acting, and if you pay heed to what each and every individual is telling you, I don't think you will be able to go ahead for a very long time. And I took it as a guru mantra. And even today, when people talk wrong about me or my work or the show we are doing or the kind of projects I have done, you know, uh, I tell myself that this comes with the profession we are in, and we just need to move ahead.
Lovely. What about, some moments when you basically thought that I could have been into some other profession, but then not an actor anymore? Did you have any such situations in life, Mrs. Singh?
Yes, I was. It wasn't my mistake. I was in Calcutta, and I had got finalized for a project which I cannot name.
Right.
Uh, and it was the casting department's mistake that
Okay.
they thought. I told them that I'm in Calcutta. They thought I'm in
Mhm.
Bombay. They finalized me, and at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, they told me that we are shooting at 10 o'clock in this studio in Bombay. So I said that, have you lost it? I'm in Calcutta. And they were like, oh sir, we don't know, that's your problem, now everything is finalized, we want you here. And that was it was a cyclone coming that day, in Calcutta. So I was like, I don't even know whether my flight will take off or not. And I can't tell you, I took a flight, those 3 hours, that was the only flight which took off from Calcutta to Bombay. Those 3 hours were the scariest 3 hours, because I never wanted a shoot to stop because of me. I never wanted a reason for people to suffer. And once I reached the studio, there was an argument between uh, the producer and the casting people, and I was sitting there quiet because they were fighting amongst each other. And I was so upset that day that, why? Because of communication gap, this is happening. I don't want to see people fighting. I don't want to be a part of something. And it was really dirty. It was not a small thing. It made me feel so weird, so bad, that I was like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. If people fight like this, I don't want to do it. But that very night, after the shooting got over at 4:30 in the morning, I could see everybody smiling. The producer came up to me and he was like, don't feel bad about anything. Don't take anything, negative back home. It was between us. It was our miscoordination. The coordination was not well, and this and that. So there has been incidents. This was really scary, because you can imagine, 3 hours in the flight, and you're thinking that, what if my flight doesn't land on time, and the shoot gets stopped. It's not happening, right? So yeah.
That's so lovely to hear, Mr. Singh. Thank you so much for sharing with us such great experiences that you've had. And I can see in the chat box quite a few of students have already put in those questions. Maybe I can read out to you.
Sure, please.
Mr. Singh, one of the students have in fact written, I have a passion of acting. How will I be getting into Bollywood? What is the basic steps towards Bollywood or acting?
You don't have to act, you have to be real and you have to give your best. And I would say start watching films from a different perspective. Start working on yourself. Be more human, because the more you are, the more the human you are, the more you'll understand the characters, right? And it's all about playing characters. Yeah, it's
Right.
not difficult, but it's not easy.
Got it. Absolutely. I'm sure, Ashmit, who was actually asking this question, is happy with the answer. The next question would be by Viraj. He's asking you, Mr. Singh, I want to ask that there is any other institute for acting rather than NSD, which is good, and how can we start up our acting career in Bollywood? Very related again. Can we start up with television to grow and hop into Bollywood, as I desperately want to pursue acting in Bollywood?
Sure. So definitely NSD and FTII, we look up to both the institutes. I am trained under Mr. Anupam Kher at Actor Prepares. I was a student in 2008. Besides that, we also have Barry Jones Academy. We have a lot of other institutes in Bombay where you can groom yourself, where you can train yourself. And see, a lot of people from TV have come to films, and a lot of people who have also done films and TV simultaneously. So it's not a difficult thing. You only need to understand how you want to balance it. Like, I cannot name the production house or the film I'm talking about, which I have been shortlisted for. I got shortlisted in March, but after that the lockdown happened. It's a big film, but since I'm doing a show right now, I don't know how I'm going to balance both the things and keep the shoots on, because for me this show is more important, the one I'm doing right now for Colors, because it's a daily soap. What I'm trying to say is, if you know how to balance it, I'm sure you'll be able to take care of it.
Thank you so much. So I have another question for you, and this is, I'm sure, a lot of students would be interested in knowing about this. This will be two of them. One would be post-pandemic. Where do you think that the acting industry is suffering, or whether it's going to be a good, way into it? How do you basically define it more?
Sorry, I just
in the sense, any challenges which can be there post-pandemic, or there are different other avenues which can come in. So
see, there are a lot of challenges, because if I tell you, we started shooting on the 27th of June. That was the very first day after the pandemic that we started shooting.
Right.
Our production house, Balaji Telefilms, has taken all the necessary steps, and even Ekta Kapoor, she made sure that we are all taken care of, all the necessary precautions were taken care of. But at the end of the day, you get scared, because from your place to the studio, or coming back from the studio to your own place, and however sure you are about yourself, you're meeting people. Like, there were no hugging scenes, there were no, like, even if I'm talking to my son is getting mad, I can't hug him, because we can't do that. There are other scenes where there was a scene with Vibha Chhabbar ma'am, where I'm supposed to hug her in the end. So I was told that, Jadid, just keep your hand. She's playing my mother. But once you are in the flow of saying dialogues, I just had to say ki mate bete to tere hi hai na. So you can't do mate bete to tere hi hai na. So I wanted, and when I hugged her, I realized that it's not the same anymore. So
that's right.
Serials also, daily soaps also, even ad shoots. I did an ad some days back. So, see, show, we are very sure. It's our production house. We know everyone. We know how sure they are about, the precautions. But when you're doing a one-day shoot, you question them a lot. You question yourself a lot. Whether should I be doing it or not? Are they taking precautions or not? Right? So post-pandemic, there are a lot of changes. There are a lot of things which has happened. There can't be extra people on the set. I'm talking about extra juniors, because they add on a lot of life to the scenes. So we just did a wedding scene in our show where we just showed 7 to 8 people, just our family, right? So a lot of difficulties. Creative people are having, like, creative heads are having a difficult time writing the script.
So wonderful. I'm sure all the students have had all their answers solved and they're so happy, just like us. We're so excited to have you here today.
Thank you so much.
And before you exit, Mr. Singh, it will be lovely if you can actually put across a message for all the aspiring actors in this forum today.
Be hardworking, be real, be ready to face challenges with a big smile, and keep upgrading yourself. Watch a lot of good stuff. Because when I say good stuff, I'm talking about world cinema. I'm talking about cinema from our own country. I'm talking about something which adds on to your your experience, right? And never stop learning. Never think that अरे मेरा हो गया, I've learned it. मेरा हो गया, मुझे और सीखने की जरूरत नहीं. That's where your growth will stop.
Right.
Go on and grow on. That's what I can say.
Thank you so much. It's indeed a great pleasure for our entire team EduGuy today, and definitely EduFair 3.0 to host you. We are very happy, and it's such a pleasure for me to, in fact, in conversation with you. It is definitely my starstruck moment as well, and I'm really thoroughly enjoying it. So lovely to meet you, Mr. Singh.
Just one thing, there have been a lot of questions which I can even see now.
Yes. Would you like to address them now, Mr. Singh? I will just.
You can just request the kids if they really want to understand things properly. My Insta ID is officially Jaideep, right?
Sure.
They can DM me. It's officially Jaideep, and we can take it ahead from there. I see, as a teacher, I've been working all over India with different schools.
Yes.
I am the happiest when I'm with students, right?
All right, that was Mr. Singh with Jaideep Singh, who is an actor with Balaji Telefilms. Since Mr. is not here with us today because he has a pretty busy schedule at Bombay, we have Miss Anju from this, from this industry, who has a similar background, who is going to tell us more about Bollywood. So may I please welcome Miss Anju on the screen? And I ask my IT team to put her spotlight, please.
Thank you, Anuradha. Thank you for such a warm welcome. So yes, I think that was a wonderful video by Mr. Singh, and I think he spoke very well about the entertainment industry. And I think acting is not the only field that people aspiring to join Bollywood can look up to. There are many other things that they can go forward with. So Anuradha, you can shoot your questions. I'm ready.
All right.
Yes, I'm not going to fire around, don't worry.
Okay.
Yes, my network is fluctuating a lot. So what I would do is I would quickly call upon my colleague, Mr. Abdullah, who would be taking a round of questions with you. And I apologize, my network is really bad today.
All right, thank you, Anuradha, and welcome to our show, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Career Hour, and we are beaming live to all the students today, talking about different careers. And right now, we're talking about Bollywood. We're talking about Shah Rukh Khan. We're talking about Amitabh Bachchan, and we're talking about Zeenat Aman as well. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, let's take you to the divas out there, and we want to find out from Miss Anju. Now, if somebody like you wants to become an actress, Anju, what she or he, as in the boy, needs to do to become an actor or an actress. Let's start from Shah Rukh Khan and Kareena Kapoor.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmed, for that question. I think anything that you do in life, not just being an actress or joining Bollywood or entertainment industry, I think it is passion that is required. Even if you talk about Shah Rukh Khan, I think he left his home at a very early age to pursue his passion, and he's gone through all kind of hardships, but he did not leave the passion that he always had. So a lot of people come up with this question that are looks important? Is it important to look good to be successful in Bollywood? Yes, absolutely. I would be lying if I say no, looks are not important. But by looks, we do not mean how God has made you, but how you present yourself, how well you live the character that has been given to you. It totally, we've seen extremely good-looking actors and actresses changing their looks for a particular type of character, from being from portraying a glamorous character to moving on to a village naive girl. They've done it all. So it's how well you merge into the character that has been offered to you is all matters. It's not about how God has made you, but it's about how you portray the character that has been given to you. So it's totally on that and the passion that you need to move ahead with.
All right, good. Okay, I'm going to come back to Kareena Kapoor and Shah Rukh Khan later on, and we're going to have a chat on Coffee with Karan to find out what a person needs to do to get into Bollywood and get, and there are a lot of other cinematographies, etc. But don't worry, we won't get into the technical details as of now. You've got a question coming up for you, Ms. Anju, and that's Internet TV is steadily replacing linear TV. And this is leading to a giant war between satellite, terrestrial and digital platforms, OTT, over-the-top video on demand platforms like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hotstar. What do you think are the career opportunities in these platforms now that they're getting so popular? Also, to add on one more question is that today, if I want, I can also make one small series and put it on Netflix through my mobile phones. And I think, you don't need to have that much of investment anymore. So what's your take on that?
I totally agree with you. And like I said in the beginning of the conversation, that it is not only acting that you can look forward to if you want to join the entertainment industry. In fact, the OTT has become so popular that a lot of entertainment institutes have come up with full-time courses where they teach you things like celebrity management, taking care of the other setups apart from acting. So, for example, a tagger. A tagger is a person who, when you go to a OTT, you see the write-up about that particular show. You get to know about the cast and people behind the scenes like directors and producers. So tagger is a very important person. It is these lines which attract people towards that particular show. So that is another field that you can look up to if you want to join entertainment industry. Another person is showrunner. So showrunner is a person who acts as a bridge between the OTT platform and the people who are creating the show. He plays a very important role because he has to ensure that the show comes online on time as promised, that the show is exactly how it has been portrayed by the OTT platform. So to ensure all these things, he plays a very important role and is paid a good amount of money. So for example, in India, a showrunner is paid anywhere between 5 to 10 lakhs per episode. So that's the kind of money you can expect. It definitely depends on your seniority and the kind of experience that you have. Another field that you can choose in OTT platform is a showcaster. Showcaster is very similar to your casting director. So there was a time when an actor would prefer to work with his own kind of people that he's been working with for a very long time. But now this showcaster or casting director plays a very important role because the demand is such that people want to see new talents, new faces. So bringing all these right kind of people for that particular show together is the responsibility of a showcaster. And again, you require experience, you require the right kind of education for this field. So this person also becomes very important, and you are trained by these institutes, entertainment institutes in these particular fields, and you can look forward to a career in these fields as well.
Stunning. I guess that's the only word that I can say with all these Bollywood, Hollywood, Tollywood, and of course the Netflix and the Hotstars that we're talking about, and all the brains and the beauties that go behind it. Okay, let's get some variety in our conversation, and let's quickly go back and jump on to beauty pageants. Well, you've been talking about technology and Netflix. What do you have to say? What's your thought on a lot of people? Of course, I mean, I don't mean to, say this, but if you look at let's say if you take example of Shilpa Shetty, if you Google all the pictures that she was when she was in class 10th and 11th and what she is today, There's a huge transformation. And if anybody in class 12th would have looked at Shilpa Shetty, they would have never imagined that she could go to that extent of beauty where she is today, like kind of in Bollywood, and she's explored her career and she's doing great in the career. And what she is today, and compare it to what she was in class 12th, the pictures are readily available on Gmail, on Google. And so it's astonishing the way she's transformed herself. So this is an idea for all the girls and all the boys out there who are listening to this, that all you need is passion and madness to achieve something. Because if she can do it, you can do it as well. And the transformation that happened, and of course, the stepping stone is a beauty pageant that transforms you from a normal human being to this a person who is an icon of versatile and versatility, and they're very there's so much of aura that brings in with these beauty pageants that I talk about. So what's your take on that?
I think beauty pageants are great. There were times when talent was picked up from Miss India or Miss World, at that level of beauty pageants. But these days, even the college fest, somebody who wins a college fest level pageant, or there are so many pageants at state level as well. So there is a lot of talent there, and they're recognized because all these pageants, they bring in celebrities as their judges. So a lot of exposure is given to these people, and there's a direct connect between them, because these celebrities are judging them, and so they know what kind of a talent they're looking for, and when they see it on the stage, they immediately try to contact them. Apart from that, like you said, for Shilpa Shetty, from what she looked in class 10th and what she looks now, there's a total transformation. So beauty pageant is not only about how you look on the stage. There's a journey of a particular person before they get onto the stage and to that final performance. We've seen a lot of talents coming from beauty pageants who were not even the winners. So, they're groomed in a way. When they first enter into that room as a contestant, they're very raw. And then they go through a series of grooming sessions, how to pose, how to speak, how to smile, even the dental. You won't believe, they even go through a dental checkup. They're told their teeth are aligned so that when they smile on the stage, they look perfect. So, when finally these talents are chosen from that stage, they are ready for the Bollywood, and which is why they are a step ahead from anybody who's not on that stage. So I think this is how beauty pageants help Bollywood or any other entertainment industry to identify the right talent.
Okay, so what made you get into it? You've won a pageant as well yourself, Anju, and it's great to know, and it's great to have Mrs. India herself on our show talking about the beauty pageant. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what made you get into it? How did you, what are the different kind of rounds, etc. We're trying to get some flavor here, right from somebody who's been there, done that, and won the competition as well. Over to you.
I definitely, whatever I shared with you was totally from my experience. So when I first went for the auditions, like you mentioned, it was Mrs. India. So definitely I had never thought of doing this before marriage. And, social media has made it so convenient for us to be connected with everybody and know what is happening in the world around. And that is how I got to know about it. And definitely I wasn't confident at all. And, I had a kid as well. When I first went onto the stage, I could not even speak properly. And I remember the judges, they told me that don't be conscious and it's okay, you be confident and speak about it. And there were different levels of rounds. So first was ramp, and then it was talent and introduction. So after clearing all the rounds, I was quite surprised and happy. In the middle of the night, I got an email from them saying that, you're the finalist, and we look forward to welcoming you to Greece. And then Greece happened, and there, there was 7 days of program. Where they taught us how to stand, how to pose, how to smile. So, for example, when any of us smiles, our eyes closed, but this is not how you're supposed to smile. Only your teeth should be visible. So these are small little things that we don't notice when we are getting clicked. but are only taught at a beauty pageant. So that kind of exposure and small detailing is taken into consideration, and you taught about everything. And that's why, once you reach that stage, you're a little better than anybody who's a rookie.
All right, we will not let you go that easily for sure, because you've come on the question table here for the first time. We are going to dig a little deeper for Greece. When you landed in Greece for the Mrs. India, and apparently you won it as well. So I'll come to the winning part later. I'm glad that you are here today and we could crossfire questions and get some more details about Greece. But how it's not easy. It's grilling, and I know on our conversations on a cup of chai, you've told me how grilling it was. When you're given an hour's sleep and then you're given a timetable for about 17 hours. Tell us about that as well. Let the audiences know the hard work that goes behind Mrs. India, who is talking right now.
When we landed into Greece, we were a lot of us. I only got an email for myself, but I didn't know how many I was competing with, and it was an entire flight booked for us. So we were about 180 of us who went to Greece, and all the different photo shoot rounds, we knew what we have to carry along with us. So there was an evening gown. Even the color was specified to us that we had to wear reds or pinks or pastel colors or whites. Every day, it was a 7-day tour, and every day our photography sessions were taken by professionals. Our makeup sessions were taken by professionals. We had a professional dentist who looked after our teeth. Ramp walk was taken care of by another, and all these people came from a professional field who were training Bollywood actor and actresses at one point in time. So they also flew along with us, took out time and groomed all of us. So this is how it was, and every day after the shoot we were tired, but during the shoot we had to perform at our best and look fresh. The makeup, even if my turn comes after 2 hours, I still had to look fresh, like it is just for me.
All right. So which year was this?
This was 2018.
2018.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. And how did you feel when you won this?
Oh, it was great. My daughter and my husband were present there. It was a great moment. I couldn't believe this will happen among so many people, and obviously, after so many years of life, when you decide to pursue your passion, and there are people, you're competing with the best of people dressed in the best of clothes. So our the winning ramp walk, even our gowns were designed. So earlier in Greece we were supposed to take our own clothes, but for the winning round our gowns were designed by a very reputed designer. All our measurements were taken, so everybody was looking their best. And it was an unbelievable moment, and I couldn't believe that my name was taken. It was only the lady standing next to me told me that it is you, please move forward. And it was great standing, I could see stars in my husband and my daughter's eyes. And I'm sure it's a moment that my daughter will remember for her life.
Amazing. And so we were talking about Bollywood, and obviously the next progression from Mrs. India pageant, or winning the Mrs. India pageant out in Greece, is Bollywood. I'm sure there were banners like Red Chilies and all that have approached you for a movie as well. Why don't you share about that?
Well, I think you're very kind in your compliments. Well, I haven't reached up till there, but yes, there have been a couple of offers, and people have been very kind to acknowledge my talent. And there have been a couple of offers. I've done a couple of projects, but Bollywood is still a little far away, and it's a decision that I have to make. It's not about the offers that you get, but definitely there are different priorities that everybody has in life, and different passions that people pursue. Bollywood was never on my mind, but yes, winning the pageant was definitely there.
Okay, so in the end, before we switch on to the next career that we have, what would you like to say to all those girls and boys who want to use beauty pageants as a step towards Bollywood?
I think it's never late to realize what you want to do. I think after the pageant only, I realized this is what I always wanted to do. Maybe I got the information late. I won't say it is late. I think I arrived at the right time. But pursue your passion, no matter when you realize. Don't ever shy away. I'm sure it has become such an important and such a glamorous field that even the families support these days. So go ahead and live your life. if Bollywood is where you're aiming at, it's a great platform because it introduces you to the who's who of the industry. Everybody is watching you when you're standing on that stage. So it is the right place to be in. Start from your college level if you are in college, and then move ahead from college to state level, and then finally to Miss India.
Wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, we went and talked with Miss Anju Chahal, who's Mrs. India 2018. She won the competition in 2018, and she's represented India in in a competition, has made all of us proud. And she was there with us today live, talking about careers in Bollywood. She could not explore, and she did not want to explore careers in Bollywood, but she has been lined offers from various banners, movies of Salman Khan, and of course Red Chillies as well. But she is the one who wishes to be at home and be with the family. She has decided to remain here and carry on with her work that she is doing. We wish you all the very best, Ms. Chahal. Thank you so much for joining in. It was an absolute pleasure for us to have you here live, Mrs. India 2018, talking to us and to our students and telling them what beauty pageants and Bollywood is all about.
Thank you, Mr. Hemant. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we take a short break and we'll be right back talking about some amazing one more career that's left, which is travel and tourism. Don't go away. We'll take a short break and come back.
Are you stressed out, indecisive, and confused about your career? ECPT A1 20 Minutes, world's most technologically advanced career predictive test. IBM's AI and deep learning technology will match your skills and aptitude to over 1,400 careers. Get your career tested at ecptonline.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And we are in conversation on this hour, Career Hour, and we've done just 2 careers just now. And we are moving over to travel and tourism. That's what we're going to talk about. Travel and tourism is something that, of course, is a career that takes you around the world. And travel and tourism is one career that you can explore. There are so many travel companies, tour companies that are there all over the world. And of course, you can join them. You can start your career and you can move all over the world. Of course, the first thing that you need to get into travel and tourism is that your love for travel. Traveling is something that you need to do, and that's exactly what you should be looking at in case. And if you love traveling, then travel and tour, is something that you should be exploring. Now, for a lot of you, we do have a speaker out here and we'll be playing that. But travel and tourism is one industry that can take you places, and you can earn as much as you want, because this is an industry where you have to deliver. Like, for instance, in our previous conversation, we had Mrs. India 2018, Miss Anju Chahal, joined us, who had gone to Greece. So she had gone to Greece, and of course, travel and tour operators are the ones who operate and who help and assist in movement. So there are billions of people who move around the world, and of course, travel and tourism is the industry, which takes people around. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to watch a small video. We've got a speaker with us who's going to tell us a little bit about travel and tourism, and we will be right back in discussion. We'll be discussing this career. So before we get on to a discussion and a question and answer session with our experts today on the panel, we will be talking about travel and tourism, and I request the IT team to kindly share that.
Thank you for the lovely introduction. You've said quite a bit about me that even probably I didn't know myself. Having said that, I think today the topic that you've given me to talk about is what young aspiring students would look forward to in the travel and tourism trade going forward.
Yes.
Right? COVID has taken us all a step back, but nevertheless, it's not something that's going to die, and it's close to our hearts and will always be close to our hearts. It's just a matter of time that things are going to rebound. Europe has already opened up and they're able to travel amongst their own countries. India is still a little behind. I think our government is a little more cautious in terms of allowing international and domestic travel. But with all the way things are going, I think we should open up within the next couple of months fully to the international market. As far as budding students are concerned, our industry is probably one of the fastest growing industries across the globe, and there is a dearth of good people to work in this industry. Obviously, you have tourism and travel, which encompasses a gamut of fields. You have airline, you have retail, you have hotels and hospitality, you have travel and tourism related fields. And when you take travel and tourism, you can again bifurcate like journalism, sports tourism, you have medical tourism, you have adventure tourism, and so on and so forth. You have again religious tourism and many other facets that you can do. So there are a lot of niche segments that you can enter into depending on where your interest lies. As I said, hospitality industry per se will grow back at a very fast pace, probably within the next 6 months. Whatever we have seen as a downside is just a wake-up call to all of us to slow down a little bit, gear up, because the future is going to be very bright. So for all those students who are probably even completing their catering now or hotel management courses, there is nothing to fear. There is going to be a huge requirement of good qualified people in the industry, and it will come very soon. It's just a matter of giving yourself a couple of months and things should start rolling. This is probably the best time that you can also look at your own inherent talents and see what else you can develop, which could benefit you in the long run as far as your career goes in whichever field that you choose to be. If you look at the news, I'm sure a lot of people, actors, actresses have started sharing home videos of how they've got home gardening done, home cooking, and so on and so forth. To tourism, where today many people look at tourism when they travel for something which is a comfort factor. I'm sorry, I think, is my internet okay?
Yes, we can listen to you. Yeah, perfect.
You can listen to me, all right.
Yes.
All right. So what you can do is to give people that experience. Today you have a lot of people who you know, you have Airbnb and other travel portals which offer you unique experiences when you travel. So you have to look at where you have these capabilities within your surrounding and see how you can bring that into your hospitality or tourism related activity that you'd like to join in. Apart from this, the only thing that I could add is that our industry is all about perseverance, consistency, sustainability, and more important, creativity. So if you're able to create, there is no end for our business. I think this is how I'd like to share a very, very short talk to you. I'm sure you've had a long day, so I wouldn't like to talk, though I could probably talk a little longer.
No, there are questions coming up, and there are questions. I mean, when we talk about travel and tourism, of course, we're passing through a passing phase, and we're passing through a particular phase. I would like to call it as a learning phase rather than any other phase, because we're learning so much, and we are kind of, change the way we deliver business, we've changed the way we deliver education. Of course, the technology was available till about 6 months back, 2 years back, 3 years back, the technology was there. But now the dependency on technology is much more than it was. So coming back to travel and tourism, a student who wants to get into travel and tourism and he's in class 11th or 12th, what is the upward mobility you would like to advise him as far as travel and tourism is concerned?
Sorry, when you say upward, what would you signify? What would you like me to answer?
Upward mobility in the sense that after class 12th, what does the student should look out for as a course option, possibly a college option, and then of course, can the student get into this after science or commerce or arts, or is it important to do a graduation in this, or can he just do a diploma and get into it? What is the success ratio and success rate? If we can just talk a little bit on that aspect.
Okay. Right now, as far as after your 12, you can do any stream, it doesn't matter. The most important thing is that in your mind, you'd like to serve people. And if you have that kind of an attitude, you're qualified for the job. Today, most colleges offer you a graduation program. The Institute of Hotel Management offers you a 3-year degree program in hotel management. You have many tourism-related programs in various colleges across the country who also offer you either BSc programs or BA programs which are in tourism and travel. So almost every course that you can go for is a graduation course by itself. And as I said, after 12th, irrespective of any stream, you can get into this industry. And once you get into your, say for example, the hotel management school, even in that, after you pass out, you can look at various opportunities. You can get into airline, you can get into retail, you can get into fast food, you can get into tourism. From there, it's a related subject. Or you can even branch out on your own into an entrepreneur.
Fine. And there are a lot of career options available in travel agencies as well. That's what students relate to when we talk about travel and tourism. So like, Cox and Kings and, so many other companies that are there. Now, of course, so one student can join, take up as a job as well. And I have seen individual people, entrepreneurs, running their own travel agencies. So what's your take on that?
I think the first thing, as I said, is that if a person has a keen interest in travel and tourism, then A, he should be reading up a lot on destinations. B, he needs to explore a little bit on his own if he is able to. C, he needs to intern with a good travel company to get insights on how the business is run if he wants to become an entrepreneur. Most of these companies like Cox and Kings, Thomas Cook, and all the big companies, they have a very good program where they train people into travel and tourism activities. You're also given the opportunity to, escort groups abroad. You have exposure into the international market, and then you know what you're really interested in, and then you can develop yourself to go into a particular segment. So what I would recommend to any student who wants to get into travel and tourism is read a lot, understand destinations, and if you have a passion to travel, try to travel as much as you can.
I think we've got a lovely question coming up from Surya Mukherjee. He's asking, what are the career opportunities in travel and tourism in terms of, the money you can earn, or possibly till what level you can grow in this industry?
Surya, what I would tell you is it's opportunity to the infinity. It is how far do you want to take it? It's how are you going to be able to create a niche market for yourself? Now, there are people who would start off in a small way, but create a niche. You have to find a market which you think is good for you. For example, as I said, you have adventure tourism. Adventure tourism is today picking up in a large way in our country, but overseas it's already being exploited to a very large extent. In India today, sea sports are not very popular yet. Only now people are coming in to getting jet skis and other, paragliding and other activities. So these are all a niche market where you can look at where people are looking for adventure. So the convention of traveling on a holiday encompasses also all these kind of sports. You have trekking, which today is again becoming extremely popular. If you have very good destinations where people can go for short treks, medium treks, long treks, or where you combine learning the culture of that region, the cuisine of that region, and all that into one umbrella, you have a market for yourself. And that is something that you can expand exponentially, where it's a never-ending business. So there is no limit to that. The ceiling is the sky.
In fact, to add on to what you said just now, there's some very interesting, market that has opened Of course, I wouldn't say it's a part of tourism industry, but since it is done, I can put it in here. There are these food bloggers, food tours. From Delhi, they will travel all the way to Chennai to cover food in Chennai. So that's a part of course, they're doing food. They're covering food, but you can call it food tourism because eventually they come and stay in Chennai for 7 days or 5 days and they cover all the streets of Chennai and they cover all the foods and those gullies and that amazing food that is being sold around Chennai, and they're blogging about it. So that's a new concept that has set in. So where do you see this kind of travel and tourism, which is now taking birth thanks to internet, thanks to social media and the blogging?
I think that's the future. As I said, this food tourism which you're talking about, I have met a couple of people in Chennai itself who do these kind of food tourisms in and around Chennai, and they just go within one small area, and there is so much that you can learn that you've probably never seen or heard of.
Gentlemen, we are back again, and we were chatting about careers in tourism and travel and tourism. We've got our expert today, Miss Reena Chaturvedi, joining all the way. She's been there, done that. She spent an amazing amount of a career in travel and tourism. She was working with His Excellency, the Maharana of Mewar, as well at one point in time, and handling the heritage hotels. And she's seen quite a lot in travel and tourism industry. I think I'll take it straight to the expert out there about her views about the travel and tourism and the kind of opportunities that our students can explore.
Very good evening, Mr. Abdullah. Thank you so much for having me here today to speak to the young minds about something I'm very passionate about, both travel and tourism. We're also lucky to be in a place like India, where our railways, our airlines, the number of destinations that we have are incomparable to any other country. Our railway lines can go across the equator 1.5 times. That's almost, just go round and round the earth. It's so big. We have about 80,000 passengers traveling from abroad into our country. We were expecting, before the pandemic got in, the Indian GDP to rise from 234 billion in 2017 to 492 billion into 2028. It might go a little low because we've started seeing people traveling back. They may not be traveling from abroad, but yes, the Indian travel has started. So, the Indians are considered to be the best travelers. Nothing can stop them from traveling. We have a very vast career opportunity when it comes to travel and tourism. Okay, so earlier on, when we spoke about travel and tourism, it was all about doing ticketing. It was all about being a tour guide. It was a lot about when you did your ticketing, you could get your IATA, which was a certificate that you needed to be able to run a travel agency, to have ticketing rights for become a GSA for an airline. There were a very limited number of international airlines which operated out of India, so they had to have their GSAs here, and they didn't have their offices in every city. So with the economy opening up slowly, and with people wanting to travel, with people becoming more experiential, wanting to have something more, okay, and now with the Instagram world, people want to do something unique and different. So you have people wanting to travel. Travel has become a very, very big industry all across India. Okay, people want to come into India because the government has taken wonderful initiatives to develop all our heritage sites, which, believe you me, are innumerable. Every state has a number. There's always some place or the other which is lovely. So I have worked, like Abdullah said, with the Maharana of Mewar, who's considered to be the man who has developed Rajasthan as a tourist destination, and more so Udaipur. Udaipur city, the city of lakes, has now developed, and it is one of the places to be in, with the hotels, with the kind of sites and the heritage that is there, that people have started traveling. Yes, so travel and tourism is a very, very big industry. And so, Abdullah, you can start with the questions that you have for me. Maybe I can answer them.
Surely. We've got some questions coming up. I'll take, I'll take a few questions as the time permits. One of the questions is, can we get into travel and tourism after hotel management, or do we have to need a degree in tourism management? I will just throw a little bit of light as per your understanding.
Wonderful question. Yes, travel tourism after hospitality. First, like Mr. Reddy said, you need to have the passion. Just before Mr. Reddy came on, we had Anju. She spoke about passion. Yes, you really need to have the passion. You need to have the fire in your belly to want to do something different. And yes, hotel management gives you the base of what a guest is expecting, because you learn about guest expectations. You can learn about how to create experiences for guests, be it food and beverage service, be it dining experiences, be it the rooms that you are giving him, or the tourist, what are the arrangements that you're going to make for him. So if you have the passion, and if you know your history well, and if you know, if you know about, the area that you really want to do anything in, you want to develop an area, not necessary that you have a degree in tourism, travel and tourism, but it always helps to have a little more know-how, okay? Because it's just not about ticketing, it's just not about bringing in the guests. It's all about a lot of other things that are involved when you are studying, when you are doing anything to do with travel and tourism, right? So you can, the curriculum is, there's lots and lots of things that you can do, and so like it says, you should have a lot of confidence in yourself. You should be committed to it. You also have to have a good knack in research and planning what you're doing. You should have the leadership quality. You should be able to work in a teamwork, which all of these qualities you get when you are working for a hotel. Okay, but it is also very important that you know about when you're starting your own. When you're working in the tourism industry, you must know about what are the rules and regulations of travel. You must know about your visa details. You must know about how to manage travel. What are the OTAs that you work for. You must know how a tour operator works. So there are lots of things that you really need to do. So it's always nice to do a short course, which are available in almost every university across India to study. You can do a short course, you can do a diploma, if you don't want to pursue a degree. But yes, you should do a little bit more in-depth study on what you want to, if you want to get into the travel and tourism industry after hotel management.
What's the kind of money we are talking about here? I mean, students who graduate, what's the kind of career progression they should see 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, the money, the promotions,
So it also depends, Abdullah. It also depends on what kind of travel and tourism sector that you are getting into. What are you going to do? So this is the right time for people to become an entrepreneur. Okay, it's the right time for them to start something of their own, because experiential travel is something which is growing in a very, very, very big way. So we've known of people who have done walks. You were just talking about a blogger from Delhi flying all the way to Chennai and doing a food blog. Okay, so there are some travel enthusiasts who collect people on a Sunday for a walk through the Chandni Chowki Gully in Delhi, which I'm sure you must have attended a few. There are some which takes you to the ruins of the Mughals. Okay, it won't just be the run-of-the-mill Humayun's tomb or the Lodi Garden or anything of that sort. It will be the ruins where they talk about history, they talk about, and there are lots and lots of people doing it. So here people pay a good amount of money, then they take them to a walk, they take them for breakfast to the small places, where they might take them to a house. So the money starts coming in from the way you start. So Pune has a lot of students who earn a lot of pocket money, more than their parents would be able to give them, where they just take tour treks in the Sayadri Hills. Okay, there are lots and lots of them who take treks from Pune. There are lots of them in Karnataka who take treks. So it depends. The money starts coming in, but then if you want to really establish yourself well, So you really need to create your reputation in what you're doing. You have to be very truthful to yourself and start working very hard. Be committed to what you're doing. Money is a very, very big thing when it comes to travel and tourism. You can talk about it's much higher than what you would get in any of the other industry if you make it big. It starts off if you're a tour operator, if you're a tour guide anywhere in Rajasthan. If you speak perfect English, you know your history well, you are very well groomed and confident. Your per hour in a place like Udaipur, where you pick up the guests in a nice fancy car from the Uday Vilas and take him around the city palace, would be anywhere between $450 to $700 for an hour. So that's a lot of money, okay? And it all comes to you in cash. So that's how you start. And from a tour guide, you become a tour operator. You create your own network. It's just a lot of money. Travel is a lot of money, and it just depends on if you get into the niche market and if you are able to get the right people to work for you, or you also get the right clients. So money is big in travel industry, and this is one industry which is never going to stop. There's good news, like Mr. Reddy said, we are going to start picking up. But yes, Rajasthan has already picked up in a big time. We're doing full house in hotels all across the cities, be it Jaisalmer, despite the fact that there are no flights coming in from anywhere. The Indians are traveling from all the states that are bordering Rajasthan, because no one's traveling abroad. They're spending good amount of money in hotels. The hotels are full over the weekends. A hotel is charging as much. A small hotel, which last year would have charged some 4,000 rupees plus taxes, is charging anywhere between 12 to 14,000 rupees. So tourism has picked up in a very, very big way. So tourism is not only about flights, it can be about a fleet of cars. It can be off the road treks that you can do with your cars. I was just watching something on TV today, and there was this young group of people who are tired of sitting at home. So they have developed a trek, off the road trek. So it's like on the dirt road. They have their 4x4s where they have brought in chefs from small hotels, small restaurants, and had food experiences. It's on the way from Manali to Leh. So they traveled not on the roads but off the roads, and so there's so much you can do, and it's bringing in a lot of money.
Well, I must say that when you were talking about Udaipur and you talked about taking the guests in a luxury car, and we talked about the hourly rates you were talking about, what guides take. When you said 400, 750, my heart sank. But when you added US dollars, all of a sudden it started jumping around with $400 an hour. If you get in a beautiful car with people and the best of the people of the world, and do nothing but just share about the city where you live, I think that's a career we're talking about. And I think we are doing the talking now. We just started the talk. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Let me start again and let me take you back into the 7 o'clock hour. Well, it's 8:37 by my clock, but let me say it would be 7 o'clock because you're going back in the conversation. Welcome to the show. And I think what you said about the treks is something very interesting. Why? Because people who love trekking and who have seen all the dirt tracks and all the forest tracks can actually organize these tours. So all you people watching this, just to give you an idea, if you're on the Facebook, all you got to do is post your price and post a trek, the number of days that you're going to travel, and there'll be people who will join you. It's as simple as that. And you got to do nothing but just take on your car and move towards that trek, get on with the people and guide them experiences about what you've trekked. And what you said about students traveling in Sahyadri ranges from Pune, where they're taking the treks and earning money. I think I want you to dig in a little more deeper and tell us, how can a student organize a trek on his own anywhere in the country, and what is the kind of money he can expect for 1 day and 2 days, and how fun it is that you organize a trek, enjoy, go out, get paid for it, and then come back after 3 days of fun. How cool is that? I think that's life. And we've just started talking. Over to you, Ms. Reena.
So, the treks that are organized in Pune are very, very simple. There are these groups of people, maybe they have a photographer, they have someone who has a 4x4, they have a Jeep, there's someone who has the certificate to be able to be a trekker. You get these certifications because especially when you're climbing the hills, you need to be certified. You should have been trained for medical any medical emergencies. So it's basic. You train yourself to be a good trekker. You've taken those treks yourself. You're safe. You have someone who you're somebody who has a good reputation of treks. That will only come when people go back. Whenever nowadays anyone looks somebody up, even if you're hiring somebody, you look at their Instagram posts, you look at their Facebook, you want to know more about their profile. So when you see, when you want to start something, you have to have a fantastic portfolio of your own, okay? Of all the treks that you've done, where you've been, taken amazing pictures. After all, this generation wants things to be Instagrammable. Okay, you don't start eating till you take a picture of what you're eating or where you are. You don't, there are a lot of people who say my flight doesn't take off till I check in at the airport. Okay, not checking in at the airport counter, but on my Facebook when I say at the Pune International Airport flying to XYZ city. So people want to be known for what they're doing. So today I was checking you out, Mr. Abdullah, and I saw your Instagram page and you talked about my water. Yes, okay, so I did check you out. So people do check people out. When I know I'm going to be starting visiting somebody or going out with somebody, I'll check his portfolio. So if something catches my eye, if you have a good ad that you put up, if you have a good trek, if you have a good route, an exciting route, not necessarily a route that has been taken by many, a new route off the beaten track, like I said, people want something new that they want to do. So plan something, have a good portfolio because people are going to check you out, know your reputation through that. If you've done a couple of these before, you should start with one or two smaller ones with your near and dear ones, and then try to make it big, okay? Because there's so many things that can go wrong because one little slip on your part could end your entire dream of being a trekker. So, you should take all your safety precautions. You should know that trek well. You should know where you're going. So just put in a nice ad, a good route, a good day. Okay, you should know when the IT industry is going to be on leave, which weekends they're not going to be working. It's the bankers, it's the IT industry, it's the not so much the hoteliers who go out on the weekends, but yes, the student crowd, you should know when their holidays are, when you can manage to get them out for 2 or 3 days. So you plan your trip and you plan your trek on certain days where you know people are going to come in. You need to post this a couple of weeks in advance, not last minute things, so that you give them a timeline of when you need the final thing to be done. A lot of people in Pune organize an evening out, okay, before they confirm. So there's an evening out where you meet up with the host, the person who's taking you as a trek, the entire team, and that's when they select, should I take so-and-so with me or not, okay? Because having the right crowd is very important. There are lots of people who just want to be on a place on the top of the world just to take a picture and say, okay, I'm done, let's go home. The mosquitoes are biting me and it's too hot, or it's too wet and mucky and my clothes are getting dirty and damp. You don't want those whiners on your list. So people do organize a little, get together, maybe in a little small coffee shop where they meet over a cup of coffee, talk about the trek. Sorry. And they get to understand what the crowd is going to be like. And that's when they decide, okay, should I admit him in the group or not? Okay, so then you can choose your group who you want to go out with. And you have to ensure that not only do you have safety, security, a plan B if something's going wrong, but that you are there to ensure that they all have some fun. Okay, fun usually does not mean alcohol and loud music, okay, because you're going up in the hills. So you must have some kind of activity which will keep them occupied. later in the night. So maybe a bonfire is organized, maybe a little, you should have a little chef coming along with you who can cook up a small meal, catch some wild, you have a lot of wild murgis in the hills of the Shayadris, which you are allowed to catch. You're not allowed to touch the rabbits or the other wild animals, yes, but the murgis you can catch, and you should have somebody who's doing a barbecue for you. You should have someone carrying a guitar, okay, so that there is some bonfire fun, there's safety, there's fun, lots of things that you can do. But yes, you need to plan well in advance, and before you plan to get them to come to you, you need to have a very good portfolio of your own and have done most of the things that you are promising them. You can't just go there and say, oh, but I thought there was a tree here, but I thought there was a flat land. You can't have surprises for yourself and the others when you go on a trek. So you should have been there, done a good recce, and have a good team with you.
Wonderful. I think that's phenomenal. I think to all the people who've been watching this, it's quite an idea to start from somewhere and actually go and explore yourself. That's what travel and tourism brings to you. You may start from Shayadri, or you may just pick up your car, take some guests to Corbett, or you can take a trek somewhere in the Himachal or somewhere, wherever that you want to go, but you never know. You might start from there, you might end up taking treks to Antarctica and Arctic, and possibly, if things fall right, through Elon Musk, you might be traveling to the moon, taking trips. Well, with this, we come to the end of the session. Time is short. Thank you so much, Ms. Reena, for joining in. It was an absolute pleasure to have you with us and talk about travel and tourism and share your experiences with our listeners.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Abdullah. Thank you, Anuradha, for having me here. It's been a great pleasure.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was a conversation that we were doing today on this Career Hour. Absolute amazing time that we had. We've got some amazing speakers today. Some people who've are very, very experienced in their field, in the travel and tourism. We have the Miss World out here as well. Just a few minutes back, and was talking about careers in Bollywood. And of course, we had Mr. Vishal as well talking about careers in different scopes. Okay, so moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, we will hand it back to Miss Anuradha, who's going to take this conversation forward on this career talk before we close for the day. Over to you, Miss Anuradha.
Thank you so much, Abdullah. Thank you for helping me out in the time of crisis. Of course, we must appreciate, the patience and time for all you lovely students who have joined us today. Since we are doing this from the comfort of our homes, internet we need to have a steady and uninterrupted internet connection. Unfortunately, my internet connection was very, very unstable. But thank you for the team EduGuy who supported me. And we have almost come to an end of our career hour today. Of course, it was not for an hour. Today was a special edition because next week, Friday, we are having Diwali. So it's a weekend. However, it's not a weekend at ECPT. We will be back tomorrow again with another topic on data science. Earlier this week, we spoke on chartered accountancy, wedding planning, nursing, and law. And today we had 3 topics that Abdullah just mentioned. We must tell you that next week, with Diwali coming up at Career Hour, we are also going to have a dhamaka as well. Dhamaka of career topics starting with Monday on airlines and of course, airlines and airport management on Monday next week, and sports management on Tuesday, on the 10th of November, 11th November, culinary arts, and 12th November, fine arts. With that, we will close next week as well. And please, so as I had promised, I'm going to tell you on how you can take this magical test, EduGuy Career Predictive Test, on our web portal. So the contact details are on my screen. So to take the test, all you students must go to ecptonline.com. We are running festive offer all this month, maybe till Diwali. So go and grab this test while we have this offer running. So you're getting this ECPT test, which is powered by IBM and driven by artificial intelligence. Worked on this, a lot of data scientists worked on this ECPT test and designing this test. And you can get it all at 999. The original price is 2499, but because of the festivity and because you lovely students always supporting us, we are giving you this test at 999. You can always call our call center, which is 99032 14444. We also have a landline, and you can always email us for any information that you have regarding ECPT Career Hour, ECPT Career Talk, or Edu Fair that we keep having for the colleges and students, and of course about ECPT as well. Please don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe on our various social media platforms on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube respectively. We go by the name of EduGuy Career Predictive Test across the social media. Thank you for being with us today, and we meet again tomorrow at prime time, 8 p.m. at ECPT Career Hour. Until then, have a fabulous Friday evening, and namaste.